Hello everyone. In this video we'll go through a simple activity of creating a 3D model. So I've got a CS bracket, the drawing of a CS bracket here on my left. Now if you go to Moodle you can download this activity, and it consists of 3 pages. The drawing, the isometric view of the drawing with dimensions, breakdown of parts, and individual parts which we are going to assemble. Now this is one way of doing it. There's always more than one way to complete this task. Okay, so this is only a suggested method. So I'm going to go here to page number 1 of the CS bracket, and I'll zoom in a little bit. Okay. Now, if we look at this model, we have a left and a right side which is symmetric, so we don't have to draw 2 parts. We can just draw one and create a mirror image and copy it to the other side. And then of course we have this extrusion, a little wedge there, and a base. So that's what we are looking at here. Part 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to start off with drawing part 1. So from center to center the distance is 114, and this feature in the center, in the middle, its distance is 64. So which means 114 minus 64 divided by 2 would be 25. The distance from this center line to this edge is 25. Okay, so we're going to draw this, and we also know that the radius of this arc is 32. So I'm going to go to my top view. I'll just draw that in my top view and extrude it. Now you could draw a little slab, a cylinder, join them, and then create a hole, or you could just draw this profile and extrude it. Now again, you could use a smart line and draw up this profile, or what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a rectangle, and I'll say, so the length is 32 plus 25, which is 57. So I want 57, and tab, I want that to be 64. So I've drawn that. Now I want a nice arc there. I want to create a round there and there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the modifying tool and say construct a circular fillet and say 32. I'll say truncate both, so basically trim it. Done. Okay. Oh, I didn't say truncate. That's okay. I could just trim that off. Okay. Now if you notice, from a surface or one complete part, it's become fragments. I cannot extrude this. So if I was going to say solid by extrusion, see that it's telling me that it cannot do it. There is a no, the no symbol is appearing. So which means I cannot really extrude it. So what I can do, now you will not have this problem if you used a smart line. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm quickly going to use join it by saying create a complex shape and then just join them up. Now if you notice here, the whole part became shaded, so now it's ready for extrusion. Okay, so please remember, if you use place line instead of smart line, you have to use create complex shape. You have to convert it to a complex shape before you extrude it, because if it's individual line segments you cannot extrude it. So once I've created a complex shape, all I need to do is say extrude, or I'll say solid by extrusion, pick the part, and then specify the height. Now for this drawing, the left hand side, the height is 19, so I'm going to give a distance of 19. And that's done. Okay. Now what I want to do here is I want a hole here. So I'm going to go to hole feature. Okay, the radius of the hole is 11. See, diameter, it says 2 into diameter 22. So which means there are two holes, 1, 2 of diameter 22. So the radius of the hole is 11. So I could say diameter 22 there. Okay, I just move it a bit because I need to use my snaps. So now it's asking me where I want to place this hole. So if I say center point snap and click or hover over the edge, it automatically picks up the center point. Done. Okay, so if I click on this isometric view and on my keyboard, if I press the shift button and use my mouse wheel, I can just rotate that so I can see that. I've created part number 1, which is on my left hand side, and that is done. Now for the right hand side, I don't need to do anything. I can just, once I have all the other parts, I'll copy and create a mirror image. Okay, or we could do it now. It doesn't matter when we do it. So I've completed that part. Now I'm going to go ahead and do this little extrusion here. So I'll just move this here, and I'm going to start doing my that's part number 3. I want to do part number 3, that one. So for part number 3, the total height would be 45 plus 19. Okay, so the total height is 64, the width is 64, and the length, breadth and height is 64. So I can use a smart line and say, okay, from here I want to go up 64. I want the breadth to be 64. Thickness is 13. That's 51. That's 38. And then close it. So now if I say solid by extrusion, pick that up and say 64, I have the next part there. Now I want to create the base, which is 64, 64, and thickness is 13. So that's easy. I could just draw a block or a rectangle, and I could say 64, 64, and then extrude that to a distance of, I'm not sure what distance I extruded. Let me have a look. Oh, it's 1. I'll say 13. Okay. Now we have to do that little triangle or the wedge which is there. So what I can do is, I'm going to make my life a little bit easier, so it's going to be easy for me to draw, and say, I'll say move this part from here to there. So I've got that. Okay, now look in the other views as well, because if you did not move it to the right position, you'll see double lines. So in this case, I cannot see any double lines. It's perfectly aligned, so which means it's all good. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use union feature and join those two. Done. Okay, so I've done that. Now what I'm going to do is I could just draw that little triangle there and extrude it. I know that the extrude distance is 38, so all I need to do is go to, I'll make this wireframe just so that I can see through it. That's better. And then I'll go to Smart Line and say I want a line from there to there, and done. Now I could say extrude that surface, and I could say I want a distance of 38. Done. Let me make it solid again so you guys can have a good look at that. I'll say smooth. See that? That's done. Or maybe I'll change that to transparent modeling, so it's sort of like an X-ray where you can actually see through it. So go ahead and explore all these options, see which one you are comfortable with, or which one you like, which style you like working with, and accordingly you could use that style. Okay, I'll keep it as a transparent model. So now I've finished part number, let me just scroll down. So I've finished 1, 3, 4 and 5, and I've put them all together. Okay, now I'm going to move this there, and then I'm going to create a mirror image. So I'll make the screen bigger, just makes it easier to work with. Okay, and I'll just pick this one up and say move, and then I'll say from here to here, which is, oh sorry, maybe I should join it to avoid mistakes like that. So that's done. Now what I can do is create a mirror image of this on that side and then join them all up. What I could do is join these two, because it doesn't have to be two parts. So I'll say union feature, 1, 2, done. You see all the extra edges are gone now, so that's one part. Now the last part is creating a symmetric feature of the left hand side on the right hand side. Okay, so I've got this left hand side, and I'm going to create a mirror image of this so that I can put it there. What I'll do is in the top view, I'll select the element. I'll say mirror, about line. So you have three options: vertical, horizontal, and line. I'll say line. Please make sure that you click on make a copy and say I want it to be mirrored about that line. So I do have that now. All I need to do then is move from here. Oh, sorry, I don't have that point. So I'll say move from here to there, and that's done. So top view, front view, and that's my side view. Now, you would notice that, see, I've got that extra edge there which shouldn't be there, and that's because these are not joined yet. So I'm going to go and say Boolean or union feature, select that, done. So that's joined now. Can you see that? Again, pick that, say union feature, click on the plus sign. And now we have one feature. So they've all joined together. So we've just completed a simple activity. I can go ahead and change the display of this view. I'll make it that's hidden, so hidden line, or we could make this realistic. No, maybe you want to see the lines, so I'll say filled hidden. So go ahead and play around with that. Yeah, I'll keep it with that modeling. So we now have our isometric view. At any time, if you want to rotate it, press the shift key, mouse wheel, and do that. If you want the default view, go to views and just click on isometric view, and that's fixed. Double click on the mouse wheel, it will fit it to the screen. All the extra edges are now gone. Okay, and because this is in a wireframe mode, you can actually see through it, and that's why you can see the holes. 3D modeling is now complete. Please feel free to try this on your own with help and then without help, and try activity 1 as well. Thank you for watching.